237 years ago, 56 men signed a document that would ever change the course of human history. Now, I know tomorrow is a very welcomed holiday that we're all going to use to grill burgers, swim, and most importantly, blow things up. Unfortunately, the 4th of July is just one of many holidays in this day and age that has been lost. So many people no longer understand what Independence Day is. And what is worse, they have completely disregarded the meaning of this flag behind me. Yes, in a modern day filled with many countries competing with each other for political, economic, and military power, it does simply represent a country. However, so many people have forgotten our history. They have forgotten the true meaning of this flag. They no longer see the philosophical nature within these stars and stripes. They fail to see what this flag is truly symbolic of. A simple but powerful idea that every human life on this earth has the ability and the right to decide their own destiny. This is the principle that forever changed the world since that fateful day, July 4th, 1776. Studying nations that have had such totalitarian regimes and seeing nations, even to this day, with one person with unlimited power at the helm, I always wonder how people here forget how truly fortunate they are. Thomas Jefferson once said to James Monroe, "My God, how little do my countrymen know what precious blessings they are in possession of, and which no other people on earth enjoy." But that was 1785. Imagine what he must feel like in 2013. Now you see, Jefferson, along with our other founding fathers, such as Benjamin Franklin and John Adams, knew how monumental the experiment of America would be. In fact, a delegate from Pennsylvania asked John Adams before the signing of the Declaration, "Well, who will run this new nation, Mr. Adams? You?" To which Mr. Adams replied, "Don't be such a fool. The people, of course. The people. The common man. The small-minded fool, not versed in political language and unskilled with any type of arms. How dangerous of an idea to give the simpleton a say in their government." But that is what our founders did. Not for the glory, not for power, and not for treasure, no. Our founding, with many sacrifices, was fought for the most sacred right ever bestowed upon us human beings: freedom. Yes, those simpletons throughout the 13 colonies threw away their kingly security and fought for freedom. But why would you do this? Why would you sacrifice the ultimate security, give up the protection of the most feared empire the world had ever known? Well, Benjamin Franklin said that those who sacrifice their liberty for security deserve neither liberty nor security. And he said this because individual liberty is a right that every living being on this earth has. It is simply the laws of nature. And it is definitely worth fighting for. Just ask those simple-minded rebels 237 years ago. Our revolution was not the only time Americans have fought for freedom. It is because our nation was born under the principle of individual liberty that ordinary people continue to fight to establish freedom to all mankind. Yes, in our darkest times, there has always been a light guiding us to establish liberty to all people who have learned to live without hope. In 2008, a vice presidential candidate once said, "The truest measure of any society is how it treats those least able to defend themselves." And generation after generation of Americans have answered that call. It was not the toppling of a regime that ended the practice of slavery. No, it was a band of American rebels who challenged the status quo and fought for what was right. It was not a bloody revolution that secured the right to vote for women. No. Once again, just a band of American rebels using the beacon of liberty to help guide their battle. The greatest generation of Americans did not fight the most oppressive and the most tyrannical of empires in the Pacific and the Atlantic to simply establish their own empire, no. They fought those two empires for the same reason we fought in 1776. That simple idea that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And Dr. Martin Luther King did not take up arms and seek revenge for those in a pre-civil rights America, but he guided a nation to reaffirm and put into practice what so many before his time died for: freedom and equality. However, there will always be a challenge for the next generation to face. And if we remember who we are, then there is no challenge that we cannot face. There is no challenge that will ever bring this free nation down. There is no greater force than the united will of the American people, fighting for what we know is right. Abraham Lincoln said that America will never be destroyed by the outside. If we are to falter and lose our freedom, it is because we have destroyed ourselves. Well, this next generation will have to fight for their natural right of freedom, the sacredness that is liberty. Generations before us have, and generations after must. Generations before us have fought their own government to secure the natural right of freedom. They've gone so far as to spill their own blood selflessly for the freedom of others. Now, they could have just stayed within their own borders and only cared about themselves, but that is not who they were, and that is not who we are. And if this nation of liberty is to survive, we must signal to those who wish us harm, those who wish to take our freedom, both home and abroad. You will never break us. To the enemies of freedom who wish to use weapons to destroy our very existence, you can be sure that as long as this flag waves, we will never surrender. And to those who wish to take our freedom with the promise of security, you must remember that we are the sons and daughters of Thomas Jefferson, who once said that he preferred dangerous freedom to peaceful slavery. And as long as that is the case, we will always fight for our freedom. No nation is perfect, and no person is perfect, but no nation on this earth has fought longer or harder to spread the ideals of liberty than the United States of America. This nation did not simply secure that right of freedom for those who fought against the British Empire, but they fought for freedom for others. They extended that to every human being of every ethnic and religious background, inviting people from around the globe to live free without tyranny. So remember who you are. You are Americans. And though we have a nation of 50 different states and hundreds of different cultures, there is one principle that will forever bind us, and that is the idea of human liberty. No matter how divided we are, if we stand as one people ready to fight for freedom, we will never fall. No matter how divided we are, if we stand together, we will never fail. So when you look up and you see this flag waving in the air, do not simply think of the country that it represents, but think of that dangerous experiment that was started 237 years ago. And as Americans, we must always remember, freedom is indeed dangerous, but without it, wouldn't we all just be slaves? And that's it.